Mckeesport. Most people are thinking that Section 2 is the best race that's going on out there in terms of talent and balance. With Mckeesport right now at 8-1. Baldwin, Penn Hills, and
Harold Warwick, Charles Morris, Kenny Lewis, Ryan Allen, and Jeff Abraham are the starting five for the Penn Hills Big Race. Tonight with that 11 available for Penn Hills tonight.
It is. It's going to make a big difference in how Penn Hills approaches this game. David Harvey is a terrific all-around athlete and a very good outside shooter from anywhere. And at this point in time, he is academically ineligible, not eligible to play in this basketball game. And it's just going to change a lot of things for Penn Hills. First and foremost, how deep they can go and how quick they are overall. It's certainly a matter of how things are going to approach from here on out. Jim Rocco likes to put some full court pressure on his opposing teams. He'll still do it tonight, but he's just not going to be as good without the quickness of David Harvey.
Still, this is a very confident ball club. They won the state championship last year. Jim Rocco says it still hasn't sunk in for him.
It's been just a joyride for Jim Rocco and everybody at Penn Hills. We mentioned that Gerald Warwick was a starter, David Harvey was a starter on that team, and some other players who got a lot of experience, including a guy who might be a sleeper on this Penn Hills team in 6'4" junior Jeff Abraham, a guy who's getting more and more playing time, was a role player last year for that Penn Hills team. Now he's a starter. He's got to be a guy who can bang down low. With Lawrence Green at 6'5" and about 300 pounds down low for Mckeesport, he is going to be a factor in this game, and Jeff Abraham's going to have to match him down low in the block.
Corey Gatson, the head coach of Mckeesport, a real competitor after that loss to Penn Hills. They came back to the gym. They worked out into the wee hours that night, and they said this would not happen again. So let's see if they can hold it up to their word.
We kind of kidded with him a little bit before the basketball game, and I said, I know that night it was the worst thing that could happen to you, but now that you had a couple weeks to think about it, tell the truth, isn't it the best thing that could happen to you? And the worst thing that can be on is be 17-0 at this point in time, and the pressure builds. He said, we realized after that game, our kids realized after that game, that as good as we are, we're not as good as we think we are unless we work hard. And it was a great learning lesson. And everybody from that point forward has learned that about this Mckeesport basketball team.
There are the Penn Hills starters on your screen right now as Gerald Warwick stands inside the center circle. For Mckeesport tonight, it's going to be Doyley, Commodore Leonard, Sales, and Green. Larry Piazzi is the referee. He's working with Scott Bodie and Tom Maloney as two umpires, and Mckeesport will control the tip, and Robert Doyley will have the basketball. Left corner jumper starting the fray, and Commodore misses on the side of the backboard. Penn Hills in transition. And a reverse layup for Gerald Warwick, so he gets an early start, Bob.
and what he does best, and that's scoring inside the paint. That time just picking up the loose basketball and going directly to the hole. Penn Hills almost turns it over and turns it into 2 points.
Commodore out front working with Robert Doyley. Doyley averaging 9 points a game.
Penn Hills starting out in a zone defense and knocked away for the first turnover.
And another right now is the Big Red come up with the ball. Jeff Abraham handing it off to Charles Morris, who'll work the point. Out of the left corner, Kenny Lewis sails in, pushes back out. Ray Allen losing the ball, and Mckeesport in transition 1-on-3, but they turn it over to Charles Morris, quick defensive hands. Kenny Lewis trying to go back door, and the pass to Warwick deflected. Mckeesport with it back. Commodore over to the right side corner, sails, a banker couldn't go. Rebound to Gerald Warwick, and Penn Hills is going to settle it down a bit.
And that is exactly the case right now. Both teams, as big of a rivalry as this game is, that's the kind of style of play that's going to get both of these two teams in trouble, and the kind of play that happened in the first game. Both teams turned it over far too many times in round number 1.
Lewis with a line drive shot, missed it, and the Mckeesport Tigers rebound with Anthony Leonard.
Settling for too quick on the three-point shots right now. Both teams can't find the long range.
Sales with a skip pass. Commodore dribbling into the paint, popping. And he gets it.
Better job that time by Commodore. He turned down the three and stepped inside the zone, found a spot inside the paint, and gets the bucket.
Now a little backcourt pressure supplied by the Tigers, and Penn Hills flustered by it. Jeff Abraham has to call a 30-second timeout.
And that is what Mckeesport wants to do. They want to use some 2-2-1 full court pressure defense. It's a trapping defense, and try to force the intensity. They don't want to lay back like they did in the first round against Penn Hills. Penn Hills was much more the aggressor in the first round between these two teams. And again, it was a game in which Penn Hills came away with a 67-52 win. Corey Gatson said, I got to get my team into this game from the opening tap, and the best way to do that is a 2-2-1. They couldn't do it until they scored. Now they score, now they can get into that trap, and it forces Penn Hills to use a quick timeout.
There's Corey Gatson on the bench of the Mckeesport Tigers, as you see across the floor from us. Wayne Wade and Ryan Sturgis are his assistants. Gatson, by the way, is a native of Clareton, where he played high school ball for the Bears. He also played at St. Francis of Loretto here in Pennsylvania. Penn Hills after the timeout with the ball back in. Ryan Allen running the offense up front to Kenny Lewis.
Mckeesport right now sitting back in a 2-3 half-court zone.
Warwick from the foul line misses the shot, and Mckeesport comes up with a loose ball. Anthony Leonard. Give it off to Robert Doyley. He comes over the timeline to the left side now. Sales. Doyley running the offense up top. 5.5 to play. First quarter. It's a 2-2 game.
He's on Sales at number 44 with the basketball right now. You see him a long way from the basket, but he can hit that three.
Corner jumper missed by Doyley. They fight for the ball. Green gets it. Tries to shovel pass off, and Penn Hills comes away with a stolen rock.
Green got the ball inside, but that big body was too far into the bucket to be effective.
Here's Lewis losing his footing, getting it to Morris. And Lewis, with penetration, is able to get the bunny inside in traffic. And it's a 4-2 Penn Hills lead.
Not necessarily a good pass by Morris, but it turned out to be an effective one as Lewis finds it inside the paint, picks it up, and scores.
Now Mckeesport in possession. As Sales is fouled on the play, and that'll be the first whistle of the game.
It's a tough matchup for Kenny Lewis at just 6 foot tall, trying to go up against the 6'5" Asan Sales, and just too much body for Lewis as he picks up the game's first foul.
4:42 to play, first quarter. It's a 4-2 Penn Hills lead. Sales with a chance at the line to tie it up. Asan Sales, 15 points, 12 rebounds a ball game for Corey Gatson's Tigers, and a little nervous, perhaps, off the foul line here in the early going.
He's got Division I recruiters looking at him already. He's got some offers from the College of Charleston, Akron, Evansville, all very interested in Asan Sales. And again, he averages just 15 points a game, but he's trying to become more of a leader of this team, and he's trying to get more people involved in the...
Now we see a turnover against Penn Hills. They traveled with the ball, and Mckeesport will take it back.
Both teams now have turned it over 3 times, but getting back to your point, Chris, about Hassan Sales, he's comfortable to go out beyond that three-point arc. He's knocked down a few over the course of the season. He's knocked down 5. Not a terrific amount, but again, at 6'5" at the high school level, you do want him inside, but he can score with his back.
Pulls out the elbow, goes back out front to Robert Doyle. They swing it near side, and it's going to go out of bounds. Last touched by DeWill Commodore. So Penn Hills.
And comparing him to his best player in Gerald Warwick, and he said Hassan is just a better player with the basketball in his hands now. He's more creative.
Allen misses, and Sales soars for the board. Here comes Doyle up the floor. Losing it, and it was booted away by Jeff Abraham. Penn Hills with a takeaway and a fast break by Charles Morris. The handoff will Gellin on a runner. Couldn't go. Follow-up blocked that time by Anthony Leonard on Gerald Warwick's shot. And we're going to get a whistle as the ball heads out of bounds.
Terrific job on the boards by Warwick. Reached right over Leonard to get that rebound. But then Leonard is able to get himself back in position and get the block. And it'll stay Penn Hills basketball, but a good job by Leonard. He gave up the rebound, but he didn't give up the bucket.
Allen lobs the inbound. Warwick underneath Allen with a give and go to Warwick. It's blocked again, this time by Hassan Sales. Penn Hills gets to keep it though. Warwick dribbling right wing.
But certainly Mckeesport right now sending a message defensively that you're not going to get a whole lot more easy buckets inside as Leonard and Sales both come up 3-zone defense now, coming out the timeline to pick up Penn Hills defensively.
That's confidence when you can do that.
Well, you get 2 big blocks inside like that, all of a sudden you feel a little bit better about your back line of defense.
Allen picks up the dribble, has got to get rid of it. Does so. And a sharp pass down to the left side.
Good patience, though, by Penn Hills.
It's Carlos Burns who came in. And now outside shot is good by Ryan Allen of the Penn Hills Big Red. And they've doubled up the lead here, 6-3.
His toes are on the line, so it's just a 2. But a good shot and a good trip that time by Penn Hills.
Penetration move, and it was missed by Commodore. The follow by Green, and finally they get the putback.
It's Anthony Leonard who finally gets the 4th opportunity for Mckeesport to go down, as big Lawrence Green missed a couple of easy ones inside. But on the opposite side rebound, Leonard finishes it off.
Now Penn Hills is going to throw the ball away here, Bob. Another turnover for the Indians, and Mckeesport with a chance to take a lead here with 2:26 to play in the first quarter.
There's only one speed that's being played in this game, and that is at full throttle right now. Both teams trying to push it from end to end. The turnover columns are starting to mount.
Commodore with a long ball, and it's aired. And an easy rebound for Gerald Warwick. Ryan Allen up the floor. Here's Lewis skipping into the lane, and a floater missed. Rebound. Taken by...
That was by Warwick and the block shot. Otherwise, it's been all Mckeesport on their defensive glass.
Commodore left side. Goes to the corner. There's Leonard as Ryan Allen was coming to claim the ball. The whistle against the Mckeesport Tigers.
Big Lawrence Green just not using that big body to its best advantage. That's signed, given a verbal agreement, to UConn to play football. An outstanding offensive line prospect. But he's not using that body to its best effectiveness. He's kind of fading away a little bit when he goes up with the shot. With that big body, if he powers down low, he's going to get himself an easy bucket.
Each team with a foul apiece now as Kenny Lewis glides through the paint. Gives behind, and the drive in down the left side, and a nice lay-in for Ryan Allen. He's a 5'9" senior for the Penn Hills Indians.
Leonard wandered away a little bit defensively, and it opened up a seam, and Lewis ran right down for the bucket.
Green with a sharp pass looking low. Carlos Burns, the intended receiver, didn't think he was coming. As Lawrence Green looked as if he was going to take the shot, he even faked his teammate Burns.
One pass too many perhaps, or that extra pass sometimes can get you in just as much trouble, as they'll bring Lawrence Green out now. Corey Gatson just wants to settle him down a little bit, and he'll put him on the pine for a little bit of time as Travis McBride, 6'1" junior, checks in.
Burns coming up the floor. And a shot missed inside for Penn Hills. The rebound taken by Derek Drummond. Nice swooping move inside the lane, but Ryan Allen lost control of the basketball. It's picked up by Warwick, and Penn Hills maintains possession and the lead 8-5.
Good job by Warwick being at the right spot at the right time. But Warwick having a tough time getting himself into the flow of the offense right now for Penn Hills.
Allen is going to bring it back out near the timeline and get a play from Jim Rocco from the bench. We're at 30 seconds left here in this first quarter of play in Mckeesport.
And now they're going to float Warwick out close to the half court, try to get him the ball out away from the basket. Again, he's a very good low post player.
And a steal for Mckeesport Commodore, but he loses it back. Ryan Allen with 16 to play in the quarter. Allen hop skips into the lane. Drummond with a three. Got it.
Big shot by Derek Drummond, the first three of the game for Penn Hills. And that quickly, the Indians on top by 6.
Mckeesport with the last try before the end of the quarter, and the shot is off the mark and no good. And at the end of one period of play, it is Penn Hills 11 and the Mckeesport Tigers 5 here in the Mon Valley tonight.
Everything that Penn Hills could have wanted to happen in this basketball game. What Mckeesport wanted. Mckeesport wanted to set the tempo, be the aggressor, and get the crowd involved, and it turned out to blow up in their face because they were maybe perhaps a little bit too aggressive. 7 turnovers. In the first quarter for Mckeesport.
Anthony Leonard and the Mckeesport Tigers out on the floor.
Force the action right now, and a great job by Doyley to pick up the loose ball.
Mckeesport with the rock, and this is Travis McBride fresh into the ball game to Doyley. Nice high-low pass, and the hesitation move. Commodore couldn't get the bucket, but he did draw the foul down low.
It's a different different Mckeesport basketball team after that break. Obviously, Corey Gatson got his message across. Get out, get in that trap, get the turnover, and then they start to look inside to get the good pass. They pick up the foul on Gerald Warwick. Warwick, that's his first.
And Will Commodore couldn't get the free throw. He front rimmed it. Let's see if he can do the second one. 75% free throw shooter is the Will Commodore. Commodore with concentration, and he got it. And it's 11-6.
And again, here comes the pressure, but they have a tendency to trap just on the first pass and then fade back a little bit, and Penn Hills gets it across half court.
Drummond on the run that time, down low, but the whistle's going to blow, and umpire Scott Fody makes the call on the play. It's going to be against Anthony Leonard. That'll be his first foul of the game.
And getting back to that trapping defense for Mckeesport, they do a very good job on the first trap, on the first pass, and trying to force that trap. But if they don't get the trap, they have a tendency to try to drop back a little bit and make sure nobody gets behind them. And Penn Hills became aggressive and went right to the basket. Drummond trying to force the action, and he's at the line for 2.
Derek Drummond is 6'4". He's only a sophomore. He's got great potential. And they bring him in as the 6th man off the bench here tonight. And he couldn't get either one. Mckeesport gets the rebound. Hassan sails up the floor, and they get it over to the right side. Down to the corner. The jump shot hits the back rim and goes out over the backboard. Anthony Leonard got a little extra bounce on that one that he didn't want.
And neither team right now can find the range. Most of the points tonight, with the exception of Derek Drummond's 3, have been inside the paint. It's not made either team adjust their style of play, but they just can't find the range outside.
Warwick couldn't find the range inside, but now Penn Hills will zip one in from long range. And that one's going to be a 2-point shot for Derek Drummond.
Drummond, the only one that can find that range. As we said, he's the only one to hit the 3. And that one with the toes on the line gets 2 more. But Derek Drummond's 5 points off the bench been a big difference.
Hassan Sales shut off at the baseline, got rid of it to Doyley up front. Down to the left corner, it goes to Commodore. He penetrates, and the reverse layup wouldn't go. Penn Hills with another big rebound, and that was Carlos Burns going up for it. Up the floor, and up the window, Charles Morris with penetration and the drive in. And for some reason, Penn Hills seems to be the only team here in Western Pennsylvania has been able to figure out Mckeesport this year, Bob.
I'll tell you what it is. I think a lot of it is just about self-confidence. Again, this is a team that was a big part of a lot of these players were a part of last year's state championship team, and they're not going to give away the crown that easily. Mckeesport has had a tendency, and Corey Gadsden, the first one to admit it, of reading their press clippings a little bit. They were the number 1 ranked team in the WPIAL coming into this season. Penn Hills knocked them from the top of the hill, if you will, in that first meeting back on the 21st of December. And now Mckeesport rises back to the top because they run off a nice winning streak. And here comes Penn Hills again saying, we are still the kings until somebody takes it away from us. And this is a team that, as they stay closer and closer and closer, becomes more and more confident. And right now, Mckeesport's reeling a little bit. They don't know what to do and how to react right now, being behind, and the lead is starting to grow a little bit more, now up to 9-point difference on the scoreboard.
Mckeesport won the Norwin tournament. They won the Mckeesport Daily News tournament. They even won their own tournament here at Mckeesport High School, and they've run roughshod over just about everybody with the exception of Penn Hills, who they lost to on the road at Penn Hills 67-52 several weeks ago.
Just to give you an idea for people around the state wondering how the playoffs work in the WPIAL, there's 4 sections making up the Quad A teams. 4, and each of those 4 sections get 4 teams in the playoffs. Mckeesport, Baldwin, Penn Hills, and Central Catholic all look to be able to be the teams to make the section playoffs. It's just going to be a matter of place. And Mckeesport number 1 right now at 8-1, but Penn Hills, Baldwin, and Central Catholic at 7-2 on their heels, and a win tonight by Penn Hills changes everything.
Anthony Leonard couldn't get the jump hook inside, but the tie-up is ruled as Warwick collapsed on the ball with 2 of the Tigers, and Mckeesport will have the inbound pass. Doyley slowing the offense a bit, looking at a 2-3 zone, bouncing over to the left. Commodore drives low, tries to hand off backside to McBride, and it's knocked away, but McBride does come up with a save. And a drive in, off the window. This time it'll go down for DeWill Commodore of Mckeesport.
Good job by Commodore not to give up inside. He tried to penetrate down the baseline last possession, not able to finish, but this time he gets the job done.
Now Penn Hills being challenged defensively by Mckeesport. They're able to penetrate into the key, or into the forecourt, I should say. Penn Hills with a 7-point advantage right now.
And Mckeesport now settled back into a half-court man-to-man defense. They've gone away from that 2-3 zone with Green out of there and gone to the man-to-man.
Warwick over to the right side. Morris out of the corner comes Kenny Lewis. Morris once again over to the left now. They have found Drummond open throughout the night, but he just couldn't get that one to fall, and Mckeesport comes away with the ball.
He hit 2 in a row from that spot, 1 from 3 and 1 from 2, but couldn't find the range on that one.
Doyley works the offense with 5:12 to go, first half.
Right now, Penn Hills has settled into a box and 1 defense with number 10 out there defending with Sales going on the man-to-man defense. It's a box and 1 right now for Penn Hill.
Anthony Leonard able to get the jump hook this time as he reversed the layup, and a nice pass from Commodore on the assist. Now a foul at the half-court line.
Talking about, that's Carlos Burns, who we were told was wearing number 34. He's wearing number 10, and that's who's guarding Hassan Sales in that box and 1 defense for Penn Hills. Now we'll see with the stoppage of play next time down the floor if that doesn't change things. Although Burns wearing number 10 is the guy who had Sales, as Green now checks in for Mckeesport.
Commodore committed the foul, his first team foul 3 against the Tigers, playing here at home wearing the white uniforms tonight. Penn Hills with the ball. Morris over to the right side, Jeff Abraham. Almost lost the dribble. Kenny Lewis has it, leaves his feet. Now Warwick. Abraham for 3, rims out. Fight for the ball, and another tie-up is rolled, and this time Penn Hills will own the arrow.
Jeff Abraham coming off the bench tonight, immediately goes outside, tries to hit that 3. Again, both these 2 teams have struggled from finding a 3-point range. It has not made anybody shy at this point in time in trying to put those shots up. But somebody sooner or later got to find the range.
Warwick's going to try, couldn't get it, and Mckeesport gets the rebound. Sales, long pass up the floor. Doyley takes the shot, gets the lay-in, count it, and a foul on his backside. He'll get to go to the line for the old-fashioned three-point play.
And just important, it's number 2 on Warwick. A great job by Doyley getting ahead of the pack, but it's the double clutch that gets the foul. Not only does he get the bucket out of it, but with that little hesitation move going to the basket, it gave Warwick a chance to catch up, and Warwick picks up his second personal foul.
Robert Doyley is at the line, a 76% free throw shooter, and he drains it, gets the three-point play, and all of a sudden, the Mckeesport Tigers, Bob, are back to within 2.
7-point run right now for Mckeesport. That big three-point play from Robert Doyley.
Pennsylvania Cable Network coverage of high school basketball here in Mckeesport tonight. Chris Shovlin with Bob McCool on the call. And a steal, and Mckeesport with a chance to tie, and they do. The game is knotted up at 15 all on the steal and the layup by Travis McBride.
Corey Gadsden considers Travis McBride his best man-to-man defensive player. He just picked the pocket of Abraham and went the distance.
Penn Hill starting to feel the heat now. They work it left. Lewis. Nothing there. Ball is out of bounds. Last touch, perhaps, by Lawrence Green of Mckeesport trying to reach out to get the rebound, but it will be Penn Hill's ball.
No question about the intensity level changing in this basketball game as Mckeesport making and taking advantage of a timeout and really changing the intensity level of this basketball game in a hurry.
Out front, Ryan Allen slowing things down a bit. Now goes to Lewis. 3.5 left, first half of play. Tie game at 15 here at Mckeesport tonight.
Dan Kopolovich, number 14, checking into the game, giving Anthony Leonard his first breather of the night.
This is Allen. Not much inside. Penn Hill's just holding, looking for an opening that they can't find.
Again, extending that man-to-man defense. They start out a 2-3 half-court defense, and now it's become a man-to-man defense, and it's a much more aggressive style for Mckeesport.
What a move by Ryan Allen. Acrobatic, he backed his way in and reversed the layup. 17-15, Penn Hills leads by 2.
6 points now in a game for Ryan Allen.
Dan Kopolovich, also the starting quarterback on the Mckeesport football team last fall. As you mentioned, Bob, just came into the ball game. That's him in the corner. In and out. Tap by Green wouldn't go, and finally Penn Hills clears it with Ryan Allen. Jeff Abraham getting it up the floor quickly. Drummond on the runner, no good. Out of bounds, he stepped on the baseline.
I think Drummond thought that Kenny Lewis was going to put up the shot. He started to make his break to go underneath to try to get an offensive rebound. Lewis hesitated on the shot, gave it up, and Drummond stepped on the end line trying to penetrate along the baseline.
We'd like to acknowledge the nearly 3 million homes across the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania receiving television coverage of this basketball game on the Pennsylvania Cable Network, a public service of Pennsylvania Cable Companies. Mckeesport with the ball, Kopolovich out of the right corner. Lobs it back to Doyley at half court. Over to the left side, that's Hassan Sales. Sales couldn't get it from the baseline, and the rebound down to Jeff Abraham of Penn Hills. Lewis. Abraham trailing the play. Was he fouled? They're going to rule a foul on that play. I thought he might have traveled with it, but they say he was hit.
It's a matter of what came first, the travel or the foul. And they say the foul on Hassan Sales, his first, saves Jeff Abraham that time in the turnover. It'll stay Penn Hills basketball.
Team foul number 4 against the home team from Mckeesport. Here's Lewis, and a double clutch, couldn't get it. Green with a rebound for the Mckeesport Tigers. Off the floor they find Sales. And he swoops in and loses the ball. They had his pocket picked by Ryan Allen. Here's Lewis finishing off the transition basket.
And that's just a mistake by Sales. He tried to dribble between the double teams, and he got his pocket picked as Lewis goes coast to coast. That's just the first turnover of this quarter for Mckeesport after turning it over 7 times in quarter number 1.
Nice pass inside to Green from Anthony Leonard, who was double teamed along the baseline, and he just fired it into the paint. Green was there, trailing the play, getting the lay-in.
It was give all the credit to Leonard on a great feed inside.
Now a charging foul called against Kenny Lewis. He was out of control.
And that's his second, and a great job by the big man, Lawrence Green, of taking the offensive foul. I think Had Kenny Lewis just run into Lawrence Green, he wouldn't have moved him. But the acting job sells the offensive foul called, and again, that's number 2 on Kenny Lewis. So the guy who's got 6 points so far for Penn Hills is going to have to come out with those 2 personal fouls. And watch Green right there, just sets the body, takes the plunge, and take the bucket off the scoreboard as the offensive foul is called on Kenny Lewis, and he'll have to come out with those 2 personal.
Now the Tigers with possession. They trail by 2 at home. Sales again losing the ball, getting a hand on it. Ryan Allen and Abraham trying to keep it in Penn Hills territory, trying to shovel it off. It was last touch by Green as he battled along the baseline trying to win it back.
Sales just can't get off the mark right now. He's having trouble with the basketball. He's trying to force the action a little bit too much, and Corey Gatz is going to take him out for a breather. He's got just 1 point so far on the night, 1 for 2 from the field. He just can't get himself into a rhythm offensively, and that might be the best move that Corey Gatz could do, is to take him out for a couple minutes, with a minute left to go, I should say, in the second quarter. Give him a breather, let him refocus a little bit.
Abraham out near the time line, near the half-court circle.
See how Penn Hills chooses to play this. See if they don't work for 1 good shot. Now down to 45 seconds remaining in the first half.
Ryan Allen over to the left side to Drummond. Back out front now to Abraham once again. And it will be Charles Morris to handle the rock.
Neither team in jeopardy of sending one another to the foul line. So Penn Hills can essentially run time on the clock and get 1 good shot if they can be that patient. They started again this possession with about a minute and change on the clock.
They lead by 2 headed to halftime. Good ball handling by the Big Red. Carlos Burns now will lose it though. A steal by Mckeesport. The layup and the foul. Travis McBride with another breakaway bucket, his 2nd of the game.
Again, the steal by McBride is what sets it up. As Chris said, it's his 2nd steal of the game and leading to a layup, and now a chance to give Mckeesport its first lead of the basketball game with just 11 seconds remaining in the second quarter, all set up by the defensive abilities of Travis McBride.
Carlos Burns picking up the foul on the play with 11 seconds to go, and McBride misses the free throw. Rebound by Drummond. Abraham in the backcourt. Oh, he had it poked away by DeWill Commodore, but he couldn't keep it in the court of play. And with 5 seconds to go, it's going to be Penn Hills ball inbound. Here they go quickly. Ryan Allen, half court, 3 seconds, 2, 1. Allen at the buzzer, just missed it, and that is the end of the first half of play here in Mckeesport. Chris Shublin with Bob McCool on the call here tonight. We're at halftime, and right now we're all tied up at 19 all, Mckeesport and Penn Hills. And we'll take this timeout on the Pennsylvania Cable Network.
It's cold and it gets dark early. What to do on Saturday nights? Why not check out high school wrestling? Pennsylvania's best grapplers are on PCN. Match of the Week takes you on a tour where school rivalries are settled on the mat. If you're already a fan, tell your friends who are looking for something to cheer about this winter. Garden Spot versus Ephrata, Saturday at 7:30 on PCN. Only on cable. Take a walking tour through Pennsylvania without taking a single step. PCN Tours does the footwork for you when we take you inside Pennsylvania's factories to show you how things are made. Just put yourself in the hands of a production expert and let them show you around. There are more things made in Pennsylvania than you think. PCN Tours majestic athletic uniforms, Sunday night at 8.
Read any good books lately? Any about Pennsylvania? PA Books goes between the lines to bring you the faces behind the pages. If a subject has roots in the Commonwealth, the authors of PA Books have something to say about it. Sunday night on PA Books, the author of Free's Rebellion, The Enduring Struggle for the American Revolution, Sunday night at 9.
VHS and DVD copies of PCN programming are now available for purchase online. Visit the PCN store on our website at PCNTV.com and browse through the library of hundreds of program offerings, tours, books, profiles, Gettysburg walks to World War II interviews, PIAA Sports Championships, and PCN merchandise. It's all just a click away. PCN offers a safe, secure shopping environment, so don't miss out. Visit the PCN store at PCNTV.com today and get started on building your own personal PCN library.
This month's featured guest at the Pennsylvania Press Club Luncheon is Speaker of the House John Purcell, Monday at 8 p.m. on PCN. You're watching PCN, the Pennsylvania Cable Network. PCN is supported in part by Comcast, serving cable subscribers in Pittsburgh. PCN, only on cable.
Hey, Corey, just for what it's worth,
Welcome back to Mckeesport. Chris Shublin with Bob McCool, and the fans going absolutely bonkers here with a pretty good basketball game on our hands, Bob. Right now it's tied up at 19-all as we are at halftime. And, of course, coming out the second half is going to be critical for Mckeesport because that's really where they fell silent against Penn Hills in their first game. We'll talk more about that in just a little bit, but let me have your assessment of the first half so far.
Well, it was really a tale of two halves. For Mckeesport, they did not start out the game very well. They didn't start out the second quarter very well, but they were able to put together a run. They fell behind by as much as 9 at 15-6, but a 9-point run as they were able to change the intensity level of this basketball game, and they did it by shuffling up what they're doing defensively. They run a couple of different defenses out there. They came out in a 2-3 zone defense. That didn't work. It kept Penn Hills off the glass, but it gave them opportunities on the offensive end, and it settled them back. They have a tendency to be perhaps maybe a little bit too lackadaisical, and in a zone defense, I think they were a little too passive. When they went to the man-to-man and they went to the trapping defense, that changed everything, and it got Mckeesport back in the basketball game. As we take a look at some numbers in this game, neither team shot the ball very well. Both of them struggled, as we said, in the first half from beyond the three-point range, and the turnovers were a big part of what happened with Mckeesport. 7 of those 9 turnovers for Mckeesport came in the first quarter when they fell behind. A much better job of taking care of the basketball in the second quarter, and a big difference in this game was the play defensively of Travis McBride. He picked the pocket of Penn Hills twice, forcing 2 of those turnovers, and led him to layups in both cases, and it gave Penn Hills its only lead of this game late in the second quarter.
Well, you said it absolutely perfectly. Defense dictating what's going on in this game. That's why the field goal percentages, the three-point percentages are very low in this game. The first time these two teams played, Penn Hills had a 34-26 lead over Mckeesport. Now with the defense getting tougher, it's 19-19.
And Mckeesport came out in that second half and went 0 for 11 from the field to start things in the third quarter. So obviously from that point forward, Penn Hills was able to put the game away and come away with that win. But it's about intensity with Mckeesport. As long as their intensity level stays there, Jim Rocco told us before the basketball game, I've never had to worry about intensity with this basketball team. They try very hard for the opening tap, and that was the difference in round number 1. It was the difference in quarter number 1 tonight. Penn Hills was after everything, and Mckeesport was a little bit lackadaisical, but no doubt about it, the change in defense by Corey Gatson to go to not only the man-to-man in the half court, but a 2-2-1 in a full court, got Mckeesport playing more aggressively, and the defense of Mckeesport got them right back in this game.
Not only that, but Mckeesport stretched the defense out and really didn't allow Penn Hills to get inside the three-point arc at all.
And they've really taken Gerald Warwick out of the basketball game. Warwick just 2 points on 1 for 6 shooting.
Right now we're going to take a timeout. Again, it's halftime, and we're in Mckeesport, where the Penn Hills Indians and the Mckeesport Tigers are tied up at 19 all. With Bob McCool, I'm Chris Shublin. You're watching high school basketball live on the Pennsylvania Cable Network.
The Pennsylvania Cable Network, your exclusive television home for PIAA state championship sports. Throughout the scholastic season, the Commonwealth's best high school teams and athletes compete for state gold on PCN. For a complete listing of championship dates and times, visit our website at PCNTV.com. PCN, Pennsylvania's championship network.
Take a walking tour through Pennsylvania without taking a single step. PCN Tours does the footwork for you when we take you inside Pennsylvania's factories to show you how things are made. Just put yourself in the hands of a production expert and let them show you around. There are more things made in Pennsylvania than you think. PCN Tours Majestic Athletic Uniforms, Sunday night at 8.
Read any good books lately? Any about Pennsylvania? PA Books goes between the lines to bring you the faces behind the pages. If a subject has roots in the Commonwealth, the authors of PA Books have something to say about it. Sunday night on PA Books, the author of Free's Rebellion, The Enduring Struggle for the American Revolution, Sunday night at 9.
It's cold and it gets dark early. What to do on Saturday nights? Why not check out high school wrestling? Pennsylvania's best grapplers are on PCN. Match of the Week takes you on a tour where school rivalries are settled on the mat. If you're already a fan, tell your friends who are looking for something to cheer about this winter. Garden Spot versus Ephrata, Saturday at 7:30 on PCN. Only on cable. PCN takes you to the hoop hard with Pennsylvania's best high school basketball action every Friday on Game of the Week. Be there for the dramatic three-pointers and even the foul shots that make the difference between victory and defeat. Emmaus versus Whitehall, Friday at 7:30 on PCN, only on cable.
It is state history in the making. Penn Hills versus Mckeesport, televised live across the Commonwealth. It's the PCN Game of the Week. 150 cable systems representing 9 million Pennsylvania state residents. That's today's border-to-border audience, and you're watching it right here as Kenny Lewis and the Penn Hills Big Red get set to take on Hassan Sales and Mckeesport for half number 2, and we're tied at 19.
Kenny Lewis did such a great job in that first half and forcing the action for Penn Hills offensively before he picked up that second personal foul and had to come out.
I don't know if you noticed, but Larry Piazzi, the referee, had to drag a little kid off the floor for his own safety as Will Commodore ran down the lane to get the lay-in and make it a 21-19 Mckeesport lead.
I wonder if he does a little wrestling officiating as well. It's a nice choker hold he put up.
Or maybe some babysitting on the side. You never know. Drive inside. Mishandle of the basketball, and Penn Hills couldn't keep their fingers on it as Abraham chased it out of bounds, and Mckeesport gets a break and gets a takeaway. This is exactly the opposite of that last meeting between these two ball clubs, Bob.
Exactly right. As Mckeesport came out of the locker room at halftime, it just couldn't get out of its own way, but they immediately get things going as Commodore continues to find a way to penetrate down the baseline and make something happen, and finally able to convert.
Inside, Leonard couldn't get it to go, and a rebound by Abraham, and he's tied up immediately. Again, good defensive pursuit of the basketball by Travis McBride. He's shown us a lot so far.
Yes, he is an outstanding defensive player. And again, he came off the bench in the first half, but he starts in the second half as Lawrence Green, the big man inside, will start, and he'll come off the bench in this second half. But McBride's so good defensively, and that's a big part of what Mckeesport has to do.
Little contact down low. Abraham might have gotten away with a charge, but they're saying that was soft. And a missed shot, and Mckeesport with the rebound and the long pass. Commodore with a layup, and a good look from Robert Doyley.
Good job by Doyley to looking ahead and seeing if there's anybody down the floor. And Commodore all alone as Penn Hills did not get back defensively. Here comes the trap from Mckeesport.
Allen able to get it over the timeline to Warwick. And inside it goes. This is Abraham with a jump hook in traffic that time. And the ball is out of bounds on the miss. And Mckeesport said, whoa, it will be Penn Hills ball. My mistake.
Carlos Burns also getting a start for Penn Hills, wearing number 10 for the Indians in red. he'll get a start in his second half. And again, Penn Hill's looking for somebody who can get a hot hand offensively.
Allen out front, Kenny Lewis. Lewis on the drive, loses the ball out of bounds. Last touch by the Tigers, and Penn Hills with another crack at it.
And that's what we talked about with Kenny Lewis, that he did so well in the first half. Dribble penetration and making something happen. If he gets the point, so be it. If he can find somebody else to give it off to, that's what Kenny Lewis does so well for Penn Hills.
Well, they have some slashers on this Penn Hills ball club,
They
don't
do.
they?
They are very quick. Ryan Allen, Kenny Lewis, very good at going to the hole. And again, this is a team that's missing perhaps its quickest player, David Harvey.
Here's a drive by Lewis. He's cut off, and he goes out front. Abraham runs down low. Shot is blocked. McBride with another big defensive play. And transition run. And Mckeesport gets the bucket by DeWill Commodore. And Penn Hills wants timeout.
It's been the DeWill Commodore show offensively for Mckeesport here in quarter number 3. He's got all 6 points for the Tigers if they've run off a 6-point lead now at 25-19. 4 of those 6 have come at the hands of his defense as they've gotten the steal or gotten the rebound and looked up the floor, and Commodore is beating Penn Hills down the floor, and the transition buckets by the Tigers right now have them on top.
Told you a couple of times here that Mckeesport missed the first 11 shots of the second half when they played at Penn Hills earlier in the month, and really got into a funk early in that second half and never recovered. And here, this is the absolute turnaround as Mckeesport is on a 6-0 run starting here at the top of the third period.
But you know, Chris, a pretty good indicator of why these two teams are so good. We spent a lot of time in a pregame and at the beginning of this basketball game talking about Hassan Sales for Mckeesport and Jared Warwick for Penn Hills. Warwick has just 2 points. Sales has just 1 point, but both teams are finding other people who can get the job done.
Warwick trying to change that, and he couldn't get it to fall. Mckeesport, another transition run up the floor. Deep pass, collected over the shoulder by Commodore on the lay-in.
No question, that's what it's been all about. Commodore, again, continuing to play the deep bomber, getting the buckets.
Here they go again, and a two-handed jam by Hassan Sales.
And the worst thing that could happen right now to Penn Hills is they really have to crowd into it. Now a reach-in foul is going to slow things down momentarily as Doyley's going to get called for the foul on the reach-in.
Yeah, he wanted a little bit more and couldn't get it cleanly that time. That's going to be his second.
Again, it's about the defense for Mckeesport that has set up their offense. 8 of their 10 points in this third quarter have come as a direct result of what they've done on the defensive end.
10-point lead for Mckeesport now, and Sales with another attempted steal. He couldn't get it before it ran out of real estate over on that far sideline. Jeff Abraham had the ball poked away for a moment. Now Penn Hills to get it back into play. Ryan Allen. There's Jim Rocco on the bench. Not happy with his team's performance at the onset of this third period. They were tied at 19 all. And finally they get a bucket here in the second half. Ryan Allen from about 10 feet.
Allen, the leading scorer in the game now for Penn Hills with 8 points. Again, that's what he was able to do in the first quarter when he scored 4 of his 6 points in the first half, getting inside the paint.
Foul line jumper. Anthony Leonard couldn't connect, but he was hit on the play, and the whistle blows, and he'll go to the line.
So many people think about when you're scoring inside the paint, you're talking about inside the basket, but you're not. Now, all you have to do is get inside that lane, and you're inside of 15 feet, often inside of 12 feet. And for many players, that's just money in the bank. And that's what Kenny Lewis and Ryan Allen have been able to do, is step inside, just stepping inside the foul line, finding themselves wide open, 10, 12 feet, and knocking it down.
Anthony Leonard hits on 63% of his free throws. He averages 9 points and 10 rebounds a game. He's a 6'2 junior, and he couldn't get the first one to go with 4:23 left in the third period of play. An 8-point Mckeesport Tiger lead. And he gets the second one, Leonard. 30-21 the score. Now Mckeesport showing a little backcourt pressure once again, but Kenny Lewis is going to be able to crack the timeline. Warwick. Oh, he ran down low, and that ball was blocked by Hassan Sales.
Penn Hills people want goaltending, and Sales certainly went awfully high up as Warwick went with the scoop shot, and Sales just soared to the top and pinned it off the backboard.
Wow. Now Penn Hills with the ball back as Mckeesport couldn't keep possession.
Now you get a pretty good understanding as to why Division I coaches are looking at Hassan Sales. Not just what he does on offense, but outstanding leaping ability as well.
Another steal. A break up that time by Anthony Leonard. And the whistle will blow before the transition run could really get going. And the ball is knocked out of bounds. Mckeesport will have it back.
And it's a good foul that time by Warwick, although that is his third personal foul. Excuse me, they're going to call.
That's Ray Allen, they say.
Okay, it's
That's
Ray
gonna be
Allen who picks up the foul, and it's just his first. But it's a good job by Allen because you don't want Mckeesport to get yet another transition bucket.
Ryan Allen's first, and the second team foul as the Tigers playing dangerously close to that timeline. Sales able to bring it back in. Doyley,
the best three-point shooter for Mckeesport, but right in his face is Ryan Allen, and he comes away with a steal.
And the pass to Warwick, and he kicks it back out for the three by Drummond. It's short. And Sales comes away, and so does Mckeesport unscathed. 3:10 left, third quarter. Sales up front, out in the half-court circle. There's Doyley left side, and an alley-oop to Sales. Oh! He circled all the way around the right side of the offense and got the alley-oop pass. It was almost thrown behind him, but he reached out and found it.
Doyley gets credit for the assist, but it was the athleticism of Sales that made that play go. He was a little too tall and a little bit too far behind him, but Sales adjusted in mid-flight, came down with it, and laid it in.
And a running layup is scored by Ryan Allen this time, the 5'9" senior for the Penn Hills Indians.
Allen now in double figures with 10.
Mckeesport still fighting for position inside. Missed the shot, and now the follow-up by Sales won't go. Up the floor, Warwick laying it in, and that time he outran the defense and was able to slip by Robert Doyley, the last man close to him.
And a good job by Warwick at just laying it in. He did not have the position to try to go for the dunk, which so many players might have a tendency to do, but Warwick realized that there was no way he was going to be able to slam it home, and he just calmly laid it home in a big bucket for Penn Hills, and it's going to force Mckeesport to use a timeout. Be a 30-second timeout for the Tigers.
And they turn the ball over on the sideline there as Travis McBride couldn't handle it. Again, we want to remind you that PCN's coverage of high school sports is made possible by Pennsylvania cable television companies that carry the nonprofit network on their channel lineup. Now, if you're enjoying the action, be sure to thank your local cable company for supporting PCN.
Hard-pressed to believe you can't be enjoying the action in this basketball game because it has been up and down the floor. And as we said at the open, that both these two teams only know one way to go after it. There's not going to be a whole lot of tendency to pull it back and work for a good shot. Penn Hills did it for the final minute of the second quarter, and it actually blew up on them because Mckeesport was able to come up with a steal by Travis McBride and get a bucket out of it. It's just not what they do naturally.
That's true. You hear about smash mouth football. This is in-your-face basketball. They want to drill it right in your grill. 32-25 the score. The team at home. Mckeesport in white, in the lead with 2:07 left in the third period of play. Chris Shovlin with Bob McCool on the call tonight on PCN.
Lawrence Green, big number 54, back in there now for Mckeesport. His first action of the second half.
Jumper, left side, missed by Ryan Allen. And Mckeesport is able to clean the glass. Will Commodore over the timeline, gives it off to Robert Doyley, who will run the action. Doyley guarded by Charles Morris. Over to Sales. Sales to the baseline, double team, throws one up with the left hand on the change of hands and couldn't get it to fly in, but he is fouled.
And that's a senior smart player in Hassan Sales. He realized that he was going to get fouled. He had no opportunity really to make the bucket other than just throw it up against the glass and see what happens. But he knew by the contact that he was going to go to the line. So you just put it towards the basket, and hey, maybe you get lucky, maybe it goes in and you can make a three-point play out of it. But Hassan Sales was smart enough to realize upon the contact, get it to the basket and see if he can't make it a three-point play.
Carlos Burns picks up his second personal foul. That's team foul 3 against Penn Hills. And Hassan Sales drains the free throw.
So a guy who struggled so much in the first half to find his points offensively, now with 5 and a chance to make it 6 points here in the third quarter.
And you got to love the way he tried to make that happen, too. Even though he knew he was going to get hit, he just fling the ball up into the air, hoping for something.
And Hassan Sales has talked about it since the beginning of the season. He knows where his future lies in the game of basketball, but he realizes that if this team in Mckeesport, as talented as it is, if it's going to make a postseason run, he's got to get other people involved in the offense. So it's not just about me scoring 15 or 20 or 25 points a game. I've got to get other people involved in the offense. And tonight, his teammates have actually helped him out. While he struggled in the first half, they picked up the pace for him.
And Green was fouled, rebounding the missed shot. So Mckeesport will get to inbound it. Carlos Burns just picked up his third personal foul. That's team foul number 4. But on the inbound, Penn Hills with a steal. And Kenny Lewis, the slasher, slices his way into the lane and gets the reverse lay-in.
Great job and great determination by Kenny Lewis, who lost the handle on the basketball, got it back with sheer determination, goes to the bucket, and picks up the foul in the process. The foul on Travis McBride. There you see the great job using the backboard to help him out and get himself in position to lay it up with the right hand, and now he'll go to the line to try to finish off the three-point play. The foul on McBride is his first, team foul number 2.
$1:29 to play, third quarter. Mckeesport leading 33-27. There's a good look at Kenny Lewis. And he couldn't get it. Green goes up and collects the rebound. Lewis trying to trap Doyley in the backcourt. Doyley dribbles around him. Wide open over on the left side, and missing the shot is McBride. Put back attempt won't go. There's Doyley, and he'll slide down through and miss. But Sales is there for the garbage collection, and he puts it in the can.
Great job by Mckeesport. 4 opportunities for the Tigers on the glass, and eventually Hassan Sales comes up with an easy one inside.
Now a whistle over on the left side wing as we saw Carlos Burns trying to slide through the key.
And that's one of the points that we have not really made a big deal out of in this basketball game, but Mckeesport has done a very good job on the offensive glass, and there have not been a whole lot of second shot opportunities inside for Penn Hills.
Sales picks up his second foul, team foul number 3 against the Tigers, playing at home tonight. Now Kenny Lewis feeds it out front to Ryan Allen of Penn Hills. Allen couldn't find anything inside, comes back out, Burns, and now it'll be Charles Morris. Kenny Lewis off the screen. Goes left, loses the ball off his left sneaker, and it's out of bounds to Mckeesport with 41 seconds left.
And again, Penn Hills trying to run a little clock. They're not necessarily going to hold for one shot, but they're looking to try to get a good shot. And Kenny Lewis, who's done such a great job all night of penetrating and finding an open shot, this time has it simply dribble off his foot and a turnover for Penn Hills, their 5th of the quarter.
Mckeesport breaks the press. McBride into the corner to Sales.
Boy, Sales feeling it right now.
And the runner couldn't go that time. He tried to get the putback. He and Green battled on the backboard a la volleyball. But Penn Hills comes away with a rock, and Charles Morris has it up the floor. Ryan Allen over to the left side to Gerald Warwick. Now it's inside. Burns. And Lewis finally gets it out of there. And they'll reset. Lewis from the corner. A line drive shot is missed. Fight for the rebound, out of bounds. Which way is it going? To Mckeesport.
Battling inside with McBride and Burns, and it was last touched by Burns with just now 5 seconds remaining in the third quarter.
Mckeesport eyeing the long pass. They go short instead. Commodore, 3 seconds. 2, a half-court shot. Hits the window left and wide, and it is no good. And now we're at the end of the third period of play in a defensive battle with slashing offenses, fighting for baskets, tooth and nail. And Mckeesport leads here at home by a score of 35-27. We'll take this short timeout. With Bob McCool, I'm Chris Shovlin. You're watching high school basketball here in Western Pennsylvania tonight on the Pennsylvania Cable Network.
PCN takes you to the hoop hard with Pennsylvania's best high school basketball action every Friday on Game of the Week. Be there for the dramatic three-pointers and even the foul shots that make the difference between victory and defeat. Emmaus versus Whitehall, Friday at 7:30 on PCN, only on cable.
Great action here tonight. Here's a last-ditch effort to get that final shot before the buzzer sounded at the end of 3, and it was just wide left. And a 35-27 Mckeesport lead is on that scoreboard, Bob.
Big difference in this third quarter as Mckeesport comes to play, becomes aggressive in that third quarter. And again, changing the intensity of the basketball game to their favor. And it was all set up by the pressure defense and getting themselves some transition buckets by DeWill Commodore, who had 8 of their 16 in quarter number 3.
Sales misses short. McBride rebounds it. Another try at it by Commodore, won't go. Penn Hills comes away with the ball. And Doyley almost came away with a steal, sailing into the stands, but somehow Gerald Warwick finds the basketball and dunks it down through the pipe.
Where he said before that Warwick played it smart, didn't go for the dunk when he didn't have the angle. This time he had the angle, and he finishes it in style as Warwick gets his 6th point of the night.
And Penn Hills trying to come closer again, 35-29, they trail. Here's a finger roll layup and a shovel shot by Hassan Sales.
You know, when you're struggling from the outside, you got to go inside every once in a while, get your game going. And great move by Hassan Sales to get himself free inside for the 2.
Commodore and McBride attack the basketball and steal it back, and now a double dribble goal against Commodore right in front of the Mckeesport bench. And Coach Corey Gadsden is smoking over there.
13th turnover of the basketball game for Mckeesport. On the flip side, Penn Hills has turned it over 15 times.
Here comes Big Red once again. Out front, Ryan Allen working the offense to Kenny Lewis. Right now, Mckeesport packing it inside that key, and they force Penn Hills to throw the basketball away.
Morris that time with the dribble penetration. He thought somebody was going to be open inside. Made the pass and nobody home for the Penn Hills Big Red. And another turnover and a costly one, trailing by 8.
Indians show a full court press. Now Hassan Sales with it. One-on-one against Ryan Allen. They break the timeline in tandem. Sales almost lost the dribble. Gave it up to Robert Doyley. Doyley works his way down low and loses the ball out of bounds. Last touch by Penn Hills. Looked as if Derek Drummond came at him and tapped it away on the backside.
Good job, good defense. Drummond had a great first half offensively. Trying to make himself known. Keep yourself active inside. Keep the feet moving. Keep the hands moving.
Green couldn't pull the trigger. Couldn't find an open man. So Mckeesport has to call a timeout here. And Corey Gadsden wants to take a full break here to talk things over with his club. They have the lead, Mckeesport does, Bob, 37-29, but in no way, shape, or form are they out of this one.
No, not by any stretch of the imagination is it a comfortable lead at 8 points. And Penn Hills that can be so explosive and get themselves back in the basketball game at any point in time. But Mckeesport just not completely in sync here in quarter number 4 on what they want to do offensively. And again, it's the exact opposite of how they were in quarter number 3, where they ran a tight ship, got things done, and forced the action on both ends of the floor. Right now, just not completely in sync on the offensive end. A good timeout by Mckeesport.
Want to remind you, next week's PCN Game of the Week will head east to the Lehigh Valley, where Emmaus will meet Whitehall, courtesy of PCN. That's next Friday night, right here, live at 7:30 on the Pennsylvania Cable Network. Chris Shublin with Bob McCool on the call. Mckeesport leads at home, 37-29 here in the WPIAL's Section 2 of Quad A basketball here in Western PA. Green looking for an inbound receiver. Has to lob it high and outside, and McBride sails under it. McBride brings it back left now. Kenny Lewis is dogging him from behind. McBride still with possession. Now gets it to Green in the high post. They go low. And a tough shot inside with defense all over him. Anthony Leonard able to put it up off the window and kiss it home.
Again, good job by Leonard to use the basket as a screen.
Lewis hesitated, or checked it, not Lewis, but rather Charles Morris, tried to drive in and then lost the dribble over the end line.
3 straight turnovers now for Penn Hills. It makes it tough when you're trying to come from behind, and unforced errors by Penn Hills. And just a chance now for Mckeesport to add to that lead, make it the biggest lead they've had all night.
Robert Doyley, low dribble off the floor, is able to maintain it. Doyley looks around, now circles over to the right. Look at Ryan Allen all over him, and he forced a 5-second violation. That time, Robert Doyley, Bob, did not advance the basketball toward the bucket.
And just a good job by Allen to make sure you stay on him defensively. Let him dribble around out there, but if you don't get across that timeline, it's a 5-second violation. An alert defense that time by Ryan Allen, forcing Mckeesport to turn it over and giving Penn Hills yet another opportunity to cut into the lead.
Down 10, the Penn Hills Indians with the basketball. And they almost throw it away, but Ryan Allen dribbles out of the jam. Flips a pass into the left corner. Out front to Warwick. Morris, and now Lewis on the right side. Lewis goes in against Green, backs it off the window and scores.
Good job by Lewis, again penetrating inside, but with big Lawrence Green in his face, he goes to the fadeaway jumper and kisses it off the glass.
Now, Sasan Sales had to pick up the dribble. Lewis is all over him. Inside it goes to Leonard and outside to Green. Now McBride travels.
Took the double step, turns it over. That stutter step that has become such a point of emphasis by officials in the PIAA. And Mckeesport gets whistled for it as Baldwin Dawkins, 6-foot junior, number 40 for Mckeesport, checks into the game for the first time.
Ryan Allen working low, hitting the window, missing. Rebound, Dawkins almost had it, now fights for the ball. And he's the man with the fresh legs, and he finds it. And a good move to get it out to the half-court line to Doyle. And now the whistle's going to blow to stop some raucous action.
Good job by Morris. The kick ball, but it stopped the break. The kick ball automatically stopping the clock. It'll stay Mckeesport basketball, but it was a 3-on-1 break until Charles Morris came up with the kick save and prevented that break.
Little indoor soccer tonight.
Get it done any way you can.
4.5 to go. Doyle. Morris is in his mug right now. And Morris forced him to the floor with a shove to the back. And that will send Doyle to the line, or will it? No. Non-shooting foul, so not in the bonus just yet. Mckeesport's going to get an inbound pass from the left side wing.
It's just the 5th team foul against Penn Hills. And still a world of time left in this basketball game, so no situation yet where Penn Hills has to start thinking about fouling to keep themselves in this game. Leonard's going to get called for the travel.
Too bad. Nice hesitation move by Anthony Leonard, but he picked up the dribble. And it's an 8-point game. Penn Hills is hanging tough. 4.5 to go. Still plenty of time.
Mckeesport got it to 10 at one point in the third quarter, 29-19. Again at 10 at 39-29. But Penn Hills has it back to 8. Now with possession, it cuts into that lead a little bit further.
Allen looks in, has to go to Lewis up top. Lewis driving with 3 men on it. Kicks it out to the left corner to Drummond, and now back up front, Ryan Allen. Allen spins, loses the ball. A little too fancy that time, and the takeaway by Baldwin Dawkins. And he's fouled.
It's a good idea by Allen, but you got to make sure somebody's home if you're going to dump it off. He comes up with a spin move and then dishes it off, but there was nobody there for Penn Hills. And it results in a turnover for the Indians. And now they come back and pick up a foul, and that is number 6. Team foul number 6 against Penn Hills.
Under 4 minutes to go. Doyle will take his time, coming over the 10-second line this time. And he gets it to McBride. McBride
trying to rub off the high screen. McBride trying to make something happen.
Trying to go low to Anthony Leonard. Leonard throws the ball up. Doesn't hit anything, but somebody hit him.
And just a minute ago, we talked about how it was not a situation where either team was in the bonus, and that quickly Penn Hills picks up 3 quick fouls, and now from here on out, Mckeesport will be in the bonus situation. This will be a 2-shot foul, however, I believe, for Anthony Leonard. He was fouled in the act.
Derek Drummond picked up his 2nd personal foul, and you're absolutely right, a 2-shot try. 40-31, Mckeesport leading.
Inside, you see Leonard going hard, and there's the foul on Drummond on the reach-in, slapping the ball away, but getting some skin in the process.
And he goes 2 for 2 and makes it a 10-point lead for the hometown Tigers once again with 3:36 left. Now Penn Hills trying to get back into this thing quickly. Ryan Allen over to Lewis. Give and go down the middle of the lane, and the shot is short by Morris. And the ball goes out of bounds, and it will be Mckeesport's ball again.
Morris had a shot inside, but he faded away at 5'10". A little bit reluctant to go up strong, but there really wasn't anybody there to clog his way. And Charles Morris had just finished it off strong inside. I think he would have had himself an easy 2.
Mckeesport is 3 minutes and 22 seconds away from some payback. The only loss they've suffered this year was 67-52 at Penn Hills about a month ago. That is the lone blemish on an otherwise perfect season. They're 16-1. overall, 8-1 here in Section 2 of Quad A in the WPIL, District 7. Now the throw-in comes, and
Doyley actually caught the ball and landed on the end line, on the sideline.
You're right.
So it's a turnover by Mckeesport.
And good defense by Charles Morris, who really didn't let him catch it cleanly, and he didn't want to come down and foul Morris. Now the inbound comes, and Penn Hills with it. Lewis running down the middle of the lane with a flip try. Ryan Allen couldn't get it, but he does draw the whistle.
Allen and Lewis all night long with that great job of dribble penetration and making it something happen for themselves by forcing the action in the paint. This time, Lewis will go to the foul line as Baldwin Dawkins picks up his first foul.
10-point game. Penn Hills trying to slice into that big lead by Mckeesport. And they do. Ryan Allen has another try.
First successful free throw opportunity for Penn Hills on the night as Lewis sends the Indians now to 1 for 5 at the line.
Lawrence Green checks back in. He'll work at center. Baldwin Dawkins is out after some good minutes. And the missed second shot is rebounded by Hassan Sales, who skied up over the rim. Now the long pass, and Mckeesport with an easy bucket by Anthony Leonard.
And it was Doyley that had the great pass, delivered the goods to Leonard, who just had to lay it home.
11-point lead is Mckeesport's biggest of the night. And a dribble on the end line, and that will be a turnover as Charles Morris was double-teamed and couldn't bring it up cleanly.
10 turnovers now in this second half for Penn Hills, 19 on the night. But it's been in the second half where those turnovers have really killed them. The first half it was bad enough, but when you're trying to come from behind like they have throughout this third and fourth quarter, makes life very, very difficult.
Mckeesport with some pretty play all the way the length of the court, all 94 feet of it, and Green finishing it off with a great pass for the easy layup inside by Robert Doyley.
Great job, unselfish play by Lawrence Green. Could have laid it up himself, but instead dished it back for Doyley, who had an even easier look at it. 5 points for Doyley, but give Lawrence Green credit for the assist.
13-point lead, the largest for Mckeesport, the largest for either team tonight, frankly. Now Penn Hills just trying to stay alive here. Ryan Allen inside to Warwick, and a foul.
Hard to remember that Penn Hills led this game by 9 points early on in the second quarter.
Right.
At one point it was 15-6. Penn Hills on top.
And how good it must feel for the Mckeesport Tigers in white to be pounding the defending Quad A state champions.
And 30 days removed from their lone loss of the season. And this is certainly exactly what they've had to endure themselves through that long wait, through the Christmas break, going to practice every day, going to practice, as you said earlier, the night of that loss to Penn Hills. They came back on the bus from Penn Hills and said, don't bother changing, boys. We got some practice work to do. And it's been a different Mckeesport team ever since. Mckeesport Tigers are a team that not only has aspirations of doing something here in the WPIAL, they've got some thoughts of making a run just like Penn Hills did in the PIAA playoffs a year ago.
Fans in the stands taking this one in here tonight with 2:24 left in the ball game. And Saturday night's wrestling match of the week will feature Garden Spot versus Ephrata in a Lancaster-Lebanon League matchup. PCM will continue to bring you premier wrestling matches every Saturday night at 7:30, right up to and including the championships in March. That's right here on PCN. Chris Shublin with Bob McCool. We're in the Mon Valley, just outside of Pittsburgh tonight. 2:24 left in the ball game, and Mckeesport leading big over the defending Quad A champions of the PIAA, Penn Hills, 45-32.
Huge possession coming up now for Penn Hills. They've got to make something happen on offense.
Couldn't do it that time as Mckeesport comes away with the ball, and can they keep it inbounds? No, they could not. They tried to get the fast break going and really never had a clean dribble, and DeWill Commodore let it go out of bounds with some pressure.
Never really had a good possession of it. Again, Mckeesport has been so good in this second half of scoring in transition, and the man you just mentioned, DeWill Commodore, has been a big part of that as he scored 8 points, the first 8 points of the third quarter for Mckeesport as they open up this lead.
This is Allen hopping into the lane, putting up the shot. He's fouled on the play. And it looks like it's going to be DeWill Commodore who got the hack on the wrist. Going to hear the slap up here where we are.
And that's not what you want to do if you're Mckeesport defensively. You got a 13-point lead on the scoreboard, and now that 2:01 left in the game, you don't want to stop the clock. and allow them to score. As you see them get inside, and Commodore did get some ball, but he got some skin as well as he picks up his second personal foul.
And a rock-hard free throw by Ryan Allen. Bounces out no good. Yes, Penn Hills is the defending Quad A state championship, but they had only 2 returning starters coming back on this year's club. And David Harvey, ineligible because of academics, is not on the ball club tonight. And Gerald Warwick has been the focus of the Mckeesport attention defensively.
They have. In fact, at one point in the second quarter, they went to a box and one to try to slow him down a little bit. It's just been a big part of it that Warwick has really never been able to find his rhythm on the offensive side.
Leonard couldn't get the lay-in, but he does get the deflection and keeps the ball alive in Mckeesport's end. Now Doyley just holding out front. He's going to fade and fire. Rim, miss, Sales with a putback try, no, and Penn Hills comes away with the ball. Lewis on the fast break. Got it. And a timeout is called.
10 points now for Kenny Lewis as Penn Hills will call a quick timeout. It'll be a full timeout for the Indians. Now have it down to an 11-point game with 1:26 remaining, but Penn Hills with a big opportunity missed that time at the foul line when you get a chance to score with points with no time going off the clock.
Next week's PCN Game of the Week will head east to the Lehigh Valley, where Emmaus will meet Whitehall, courtesy of RCN. Next Friday night, live right here at 7:30 on the Pennsylvania Cable Network, PCN. And, of course, there's a look at the rest of the schedule. Game of the Week down through the rest of the season. We'll also have exclusive coverage of the PIAA Basketball Championships in March. You can check our website for more information at PCNTV.com.
For those of you that enjoy the PIAA playoffs, and of course a big part of high school basketball in the state of Pennsylvania this year is the introduction of the Philadelphia Public League into the PIAA playoffs. And as you saw in our graphic, next Friday night, the 6 o'clock game, Simon Gratz against Philadelphia Central High School, 2 of the best teams in the Philadelphia Public League. So those of you around the state of Pennsylvania want to see what the Philadelphia Public League is all about, good chance for you to get an idea next Friday night here on PCN at 6 o'clock as you'll see Simon Gratz, the Kingpins of Philadelphia Public League, taking on what many believe is the best team this year in Central High School out of Philadelphia.
That's really going to make it interesting this season.
It's been a talk for about 12 and a half months. And people just saying, well, this is what's going to happen this year with Penn Hills winning the state championship. Well, what's going to happen next year when the Philadelphia Public League enters the picture? Everybody's going to wait and see and find out come March.
Whole new ball game as we see Ryan Allen commit the foul on the inbound, and Mckeesport's going to walk it down to the other end of the floor with $1:25 to play.
But I think, Chris, in addition to that, not only is it about the anticipation of what they'll do in the state playoffs, but it's also had a couple of teams now go out and schedule them as part of their regular season. And now you can go and play some of these, whether it be a tournament or a regular season game. Teams are going out now and trying to see how they're going to face one another. And Penn Hills played Simon Gratz early on in the season.
Doyley misses the free throw. Morris with a break and fouled on the missed shot. You know, Bob, I've always said, if you want to be the best, you have to beat the rest of the best, and that's the only way to prove who's really number one.
Right, and it's like, again, it's just a great measuring stick to say, all right, well, a lot of people think that the Philadelphia Public League is some of the best basketball in the state of Pennsylvania. We think we're good. Let's see how good we are, and let's see where we measure up if, in fact, we make that run in the state playoffs. And, of course, Penn Hills just coming off a state championship from a year ago, playing Simon Gratz in their opening tournament. And it was a very close game, went right down to the wire.
2 shots up, 2 shots good for Charles Morris, the 5'10 senior for Penn Hills. Now Mckeesport with a 45-36 advantage, and they rush the ball up the floor. As time winds down, we're getting close to a minute to go. Sales, inside out. Commodore, Sales again. And right now Mckeesport's just taking some air out of the ball.
And they're forcing Penn Hills to come out and commit the foul because it's bonus time now for Mckeesport, and it's going to send Sales to the line to shoot a 1-on-1. That's team foul number 9. So from here on out, it'll be 2 shots every trip to the line for Mckeesport.
Sales taking his time, stepping to the free throw line. The 6'5 senior, averaging double-double numbers in points and rebounds, 15 and 12 respectively. And the first one he knocks down, he'll have the bonus.
Can't tell you how impressed I am by the patience of Hassan Sales. didn't force the action. Even though he had just the 1 point in the first half, he stayed patient, stayed within himself, and thinking to himself, look, my opportunities are going to present themselves. He scores 7 more in his third quarter, 3 more, make it 4 more here in the fourth quarter, and before you know it, he's at 12 points, just getting very close to his average of 15 a game.
Sales is going to be a good D1 player, either the lower or even the mid-level perhaps. Now, a break again. McBride with a lay-in try. No, he's fouled from behind on the play before he launched.
So McBride will go to the line to shoot 2. It was in the act. He would shoot 2. Actually, they said it was on the floor, but he's going to shoot 2 with a double bonus now. That is team foul number 10 against Penn Hills. And Chris, getting back to your point, the Division I coaches really like Hassan Sales. And again, he's got a couple of offers on the table. He's got one from Akron. He's got one from Evansville. He's got one from College of Charleston. And he's going to just kind of weigh his options and see how things progress. Maybe he'll make his decision before his senior season's over. Maybe he'll wait and see if something else comes his way. But he's the kind of guy to be a great guy at the 3 spot at the Division I level, because he can go outside and shoot the 3, and with that great leaping ability, go inside and get some rebounds, and he can handle the basketball a little bit as well.
Travis McBride getting the shot at the foul line, and up the floor it comes. And the jumper is off the mark. They couldn't get the putback with Ray Allen Smith. And Mckeesport clears the ball up to the half-court line, and that's where the foul occurs. Jeff Abraham reaching in to stop the action. 37 seconds remain here in Mckeesport tonight. And the Tigers, after about a month of thinking about this game, well, they're going to get some revenge here tonight.
And you know what they're thinking right now? Go ahead, Coach. I guess we're not going to practice tonight, are we?
That's exactly what they did after the loss at Penn Hills.
Coach, can we go home now?
And if you talk to Corey Gadsden, as we did, Bob, before the game, he says it wasn't so much that we lost the game, it was just that he was so disappointed in the way they played.
It was about the intensity level. We may be beating a dead horse with that tonight, but that's the difference in Mckeesport, not only in round 1, but in quarter number 1 to quarter 2 and quarter 3. The difference was when they played with the intensity they have now, they're a completely different basketball team.
Another takeaway and another lay-in for DeWill Commodore. The Mckeesport Tigers with 20 ticks left.
Commodore has had a layup drill in this second half tonight for Mckeesport.
Jumper, left corner, off the mark by Ryan Allen. Warwick trying to save it, does so, but he threw it to McBride. And a fast break 2-on-2, and McBride is hacked, and that will stop the clock with 6 seconds left. And right now, a lot of fans are making their way to the action.
Travis almost ended up with the best seat in the house, that big comfy sofa that sits underneath the basket here at Mckeesport. And I asked Athletic Director Charlie Kiss about that. They said it's a booster fundraiser. They sell tickets, and then you get a chance to win the raffle, and if they draw your name, you get a chance to sit in the comfy seat, the big soft sofa that sits under the basket that Travis McBride, there it is. Those guys are probably sitting there, you know what? I'd like to stay here right now until Sunday. Bring the big screen in, and we'll just sit here and watch the doubleheader.
That's right. All Pennsylvania football doubleheader this weekend, and we hope both of our Commonwealth teams win so we can see an All-PA Super Bowl as time winds down and the final score is registered, and Mckeesport avenges its only loss of the season to Penn Hills with a 53-36 win here at home tonight. Bob, this was a pretty darn good ball game, but Mckeesport blew it open early in the second half.
And that was what it was all about. And again, it was all about what they did on defense. They forced the turnovers and they scored in transition. DeWill Commodore, the big difference. He scored the first 8 points of the third quarter of tonight's basketball game and took what was a 19-19 halftime game into a 27-19 lead at that point for Mckeesport. Eventually grew it to 10, and it kept on going from there in the fourth quarter. Commodore gets game-high scoring honors with 15 points for Corey Gadsden's Mckeesport team. Sales, who was patient, as we said, and waited for his opportunity, still ends up in double figures with 12. Double figures tonight for Penn Hills, and Ryan Allen with 11, and Kenny Lewis with 10. And those guys did a great job for the Indians. Dribble penetration and trying to make something happen, force the action. It was a tough night for Gerald Warwick, finishing with just 6 points.
And there's Corey Gadsden and Jim Rocco, the two head coaches of these respective ball clubs. Mckeesport winning it 53-36. Next Tuesday night, Mckeesport has Central Catholic on its schedule, and Central Catholic is also 7-2 coming into tonight's game. Meanwhile, Penn Hills will have to play Franklin Regional, also in a section game. Franklin Regional just 2-7 coming into tonight's action. And for Papa Cool and for our entire staff here on the Pennsylvania Cable Network, I'm Chris Shovlin. Thank you so much for joining us for basketball here in the Mon Valley, just outside of Pittsburgh tonight, where Mckeesport wins at home 53-36 on the Pennsylvania Cable Network Game of the Week.
The Pennsylvania Cable